How's it going, folks? It's Lobo, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to episode 4 of Hawkeye. And before I begin, I just want to say it's going to take me a few minutes to get back into the swing of things, no pun intended, because I just got done rewatching The Amazing Spider-Man. So right now, my mind is all about Spider-Man and Spider-Man related things, so it's going to take me a little bit to settle in with Hawkeye again and get sort of in the zone, because I'm on a kind of tight schedule right now because I have my tickets for Thursday. I'm watching this right now on a Tuesday night, and I still have to rewatch The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then both of Tom Holland's movies, Homecoming and Far From Home, and then also watch the next episode of Hawkeye, which comes out tomorrow. And then, with all this talk of Spider-Man that I'm mentioning now, why I'm rewatching is not just because I like to do a rewatch before big releases. I just like to do it because it's, you know who's in the movie. That's part of the reason. But also, I mentioned at one point that I'm going to do a sort of Spider-Man No Way Home discussion where I'm going to talk about things related to the movie, what I'm sort of predicting for the movie, and 10 specific things that I want to see occur in the movie, things I want to happen. That is all going to be in my Spider-Man No Way Home discussion, which I would love for it to come out tomorrow on a Wednesday when this video is up, but I highly doubt it. I think it'll come up on Thursday, so just, if you're interested in that, just keep an eye out because that will be coming soon. But anyway, I've talked enough, and I'm interested to get back into the world of Hawkeye and this tracksuit mafia threat unraveling. So, here we go.
Why is there an Avenger in my dining room?
Hi.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we dropped in. No big deal.
Working on a
How
case
terrific.
together?
He's my partner.
Threat?
Well, not exactly.
But you are working together.
Got a cover for her, come on.
Yes.
This table to do what's right.
His eyes went right to the sword.
Natasha Romanoff was pretty damn good at it, wasn't she? Being good isn't always enough to keep you alive. But I'm letting you know that I cannot lose Kate.
But what I can do is ensure that your daughter stays safe. Okay?
I like that interaction. Oh, he got it! Slick. Jack is not going to be happy about that.
It's Eleanor. Could you call me back, please? It's urgent.
What's that about? Is it the Rich Society conspiracy I've been on about?
He said that his boss, Jack Duquesne, never gives him a day off.
Jack's CEO. He's laundering money for the big guy.
Jack CEO, interesting.
You mean the Rolex?
You know, it's Dad.
Bro! Literally speaking code just so our kids can't hear. I'm assuming that's Russian. I don't know what language that is, but it's code, essentially. He definitely told his wife everything. She knows so much, and she's mentioned Ronan before. So that answers one of my questions from the first episode.
Nuts roasting on an open fire.
She can't help but smile. Oh, dude, this is going to make Kate feel bad for trying to sort of split them apart.
It's better than being with family. I'm so glad that you're both here.
Oh, now she's going to think she's making Clint miss his time. Oh, I mean, technically she is, but it's not her fault. Well, technically it is, but it's not. I'm just...
Hey!
Hey! Hey!
All right.
You got good instincts, kid.
What do you mean?
So I did a little digging. And turns out Sloan's a shell company.
Oh my god, their soundtrack is so good.
The cops. Have you ever heard of boomerang arrows?
What? Why would I ever want to use a boomerang arrow?
Because they come back.
Trick arrows were boomerangs and we'd have them all.
Coming back at us.
You'd have to dodge.
Well, I could knock somebody unconscious with that, like 20 feet away.
No, you can't.
I can use a quarter or a nickel, time's too light.
Or without me believing you, I'll just tell every stranger that I see Hawkeye is full of bullshit.
Whoa.
Do it this time.
Okay.
Damn, she got it.
Oh, it's
Yes.
fine. It's
Look,
not the
it'll
right
be a
time.
good story, I'm sure.
It's just not a good story. Okay? About the time I met someone.
When he spared
I
Natasha.
was sent to take her out.
You lost your family in the blip.
Yeah. Like half the world.
Is that where you met the Ronin? It's you, isn't it?
Everybody dealt with the blip in their own way.
He's not denying
I
it.
continued doing what I was trained to do. Right people, the right targets, so...
You made mistakes, but those are behind you.
No, it's tied to me. And I can't go home till I fix it.
Man, hands down one of the best scenes so far on the show. Top 3 easily. That was fantastic. Man, that's tough on someone's psyche, sort of gnawing away in the back of their mind constantly. That's terrible.
Surprise. I want to talk. Looking for this? Or maybe it's the box cutter under the seat.
You can't outsmart a pro.
How'd your day go?
Hi.
My day's been fine.
Is this where he's gonna get his new suit? It kind of makes perfect sense.
Hire you to make my next one.
Yeah, I would love to.
Wait a second. What if that's our deal?
Texting from Android.
We gotta go out.
I have an exit strategy. That's why I chose this spot. It's got good sight lines for my exits. Just give me a signal, okay? All right. Kate?
Here we go. As he said, that overconfidence.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't talking to you.
Maybe you should stop talking.
Yeah, I'm his partner.
I'll just take this back.
The door, no problem.
Oh,
What do you do with this giant bow problem?
I have a collapsible one.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's why he goes. Ch-ch. Well, it doesn't sound like a shotgun, but he does. He flicks it and extends. I think it was kind of a bad idea to send her in first. Oh, that's cool. The ball's holding the flashlight. What if it's like a professional assassin or some shit? I don't know. She'd be outmatched. Something feels very off.
Got the watch. Clint, somebody is taking notes on your family.
What?
Clint Barton, wife Laura, daughter Lila, age 14, son Cooper, age 16.
What the hell?
Son Nate.
Arm for people that can't hear.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's Maya's apartment!
I'm coming. Okay.
Clint?
He's fighting someone.
Maya's on the roof with me.
No, Maya is definitely here!
What? Hold on!
Little help?
I need to see that mask closer. I think I know who that is. Is it 3 like little green eyes? If it is, that's so gotta be Yelena.
Oh, come on!
Oh. Man, I'm so confused. They're all fighting each other. That was smooth. Yeah, see? Black Widow tech right there. And he recognizes it. Oh my god, dude. He's probably having like flashbacks.
Pull me up!
Dude, the parallel. Damn that arrow. Yep, she's gonna take it off. It's gonna look just like her. I know what her comic design looks like. That's what I'm saying. The 3 green lights. That is so her mask. And I knew she would be in the series, but I didn't know which episode. Because obviously we saw the end of Black Widow. With Val and shit giving her her target. Oh man, that was sick. It's like an Assassin's Creed leap.
You're not my partner. Do you understand that? You never were. Hired the Black Widow assassin.
Look, I know that tonight didn't go as planned, but I chose to be here. I understand the risk. I understand all of that.
I'm not gonna do it. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Damn.
Go home, Kate.
Damn, that got real fast. Holy shit. But I understand it. Just in the moment, it's like hard not to get caught up with the fact that Yelena's finally making her debut. Because everyone knew, including myself, that was going to happen. I didn't know it was this particular episode, but I know her comic design where she has like the black mask with the like 3 green lights, and usually her blonde hair is exposed, but here it was just like a mask to add to like the suspense and reveal. But you just kind of know, because at the end of Black Widow, Val gave her the sort of, don't you want to know the person responsible for killing your sister? So we just knew she would turn up sooner or later. But originally, why I was kind of shocked there is because I thought Maya and her were working like together, but someone else hired, as he said, someone hired a Black Widow assassin to get me. It's potentially, I'm gonna have to go into this later, but just like my thoughts fresh off is that he doesn't know it's his sister. Excuse me, he doesn't know it's Natasha's sister. I don't know why I said his sister, but that's a possibility. He doesn't know, so obviously he doesn't know there's like a personal vendetta there, and he's just assuming because she's a Black Widow that someone else hired a order to hit necessarily. So, or it's just the fact that you couple that with Val ordering the hit, because technically both cases are true, where there's the personal sort of out for revenge plus someone wanting Hawkeye dead. But I don't really know, because she didn't kill him, like she fled, and then she also saved Kate. Yelena's never been bad. I love Yelena's character. I really enjoyed her in Black Widow. She was definitely, I think she was like the highlight of the movie. I'm not trying to like disrespect Scarlett Johansson, but I've just felt like Yelena was definitely a standout character. I can never pronounce. You know how I am with the names. What, Florence Pugh? I think it's Poe or whatever. She did a fantastic job. So I'm excited for her future. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. She's not a evil or bad character. So I just wouldn't expect her to do any killings. But I'm just wondering what she's really trying to accomplish here, because I feel like she can work things out with Clint. But we'll go more into that later. It's just some quick thoughts when I was just after watching this. All right, well, there we have it. That was episode 4, and this is going to be a short sort of post-reaction discussion, because I actually don't have a lot to say with this episode. I just think it was more along the lines of an enjoyable episode where there wasn't really that much plot going on. There wasn't really that much advancement in terms of where's the story going in terms of direction and stuff. It felt very sort of self-centered and contained. As I mentioned, I didn't really feel like there were any sort of branching storylines or stuff. It was just, I feel like it was more of the same. I thought it was a good episode, but this one is definitely like it doesn't rank among like, well, there's only been 4 episodes, but this isn't my favorite. The previous one, episode 3, was my favorite. I really enjoyed that. But probably, I said top 3, one of the best scenes in the show so far has definitely been their conversation between Kate and Clint when they were on the couch and enjoying, well, they weren't really enjoying the Christmas movie, but they were talking about Ronan and Natasha. I thought that was a really powerful exchange and a very well acted interaction. I thought that was really good visually. Again, they're just going off their acting capabilities. They're both very talented, so it's always amazing to watch them in action, because they do such a superb job that it really does convey the emotion, and you can get caught up on that. You can subtly tell by me that I'm like sort of absorbed by both their acting performance and what the situation entails for the characters. But I thought that was an incredible scene. But something I just want to talk about quickly is the whole thing with Yelena. As I said, I know what she looks like from the comics, and I also, of course, watched Black Widow on my own time, like months ago. I've watched it, I think, only about 3 times so far. But as I mentioned, Yelena has been like what I thought was the standout character of the movie. Again, Scarlett Johansson did a great job, but I just for some reason, I think Yelena was just really sort of... it wasn't really necessarily that she did an outstanding performance. Don't get me wrong, she did an incredible job. As I mentioned, Florence Pugh, I can never pronounce her last name right. I can never pronounce anyone's last name correctly. But it was just like, I'm thinking because Black Widow debuted so much later, they were obviously setting it up for sort of, I wouldn't say the Young Avengers or sort of the Dark Avengers or whatnot, but obviously they're setting it up for Yelena to be like the new Black Widow in the MCU. So obviously they would give her a good portion of screen time and stuff. So I feel like that, coupled with her performance, really made her more fleshed out, and that's why we get that sort of, hey, she's a standout character kind of vibes from that whole ordeal. And especially because it was like weird timing for the Black Widow movie, because it was sort of a prequel, but it took place like when it came out post Endgame, and they connected it to Infinity War and stuff. But it was just a movie that myself and a lot of others believed should have came out years ago. But that's just like besides the fact. But as I said, I felt like she was very standout in that. But of course, as I said, I knew her comic sort of appearance with her like long, like swept. I don't really know how you call this. Just loose blonde hair, and she has these goggles that have almost like 3 eyes, like one in the middle, kind of like what is that thing called? I don't know. There's like some I was trying to come up with a specific name, but I don't know. Just like the mask thing that looks like 3 green eyeballs or whatever, and with her blonde hair. I know that comic design. So when I saw the sort of, hey, there's another person here, when he's talking about Maya's on the rooftop or whatever, I'm like, who could it be? But then I saw her fighting and stuff, and I saw the goggles. I'm like, oh, that's so gotta be Yelena. Because obviously in the end credits for Black Widow, there was Val giving her like, oh, don't you want to know who was responsible for your sister's death? So we knew down the line it was gonna happen. And I think there was some casting announcement for her being in the show like months ago or something. I feel like that was confirmed a while back. But it might have just been speculation, but pretty much everyone like knew, because obviously that's something that would have to eventually happen down the line. It just made perfect sense for it to occur in Hawkeye based on the timeline. But with that being said, I feel like there's a little bit of sort of plot hole, because again, I don't know when Hawkeye really takes place in the MCU, because I've heard people say it takes place 2 years. It takes place 2 years after Avengers Endgame, which I'm like, I don't know about that, because Spider-Man Far From Home, I think, is around 8 months, and then No Way Home picks up like right after that, and No Way Home is this sort of multiversal event, and I'm like, how is Hawkeye out before No Way Home, but it's over a year into the future, when we sort of are just gonna go off the basis that, hey, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and the entire world safely dealt with these sort of multiversal consequences and happenings that are occurring on the timeline. I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't really add up. And then when you couple that with the fact that, as I said, the sort of Black Widow thing, in the Black Widow movie, Natasha disbanded the Red Room and freed the other widows and stuff, and I think his name was, I forget his name, it starts with a D, is it like Dracoff or something? They ended that whole operation. So why did she not tell Clint about that? I feel like she would have mentioned that. I knew she went straight from, technically in Infinity War, Clint was retired, so, and then he became Ronin. So, I guess based on that, because Natasha pretty much went straight from the end of Black Widow to Steve, and then to help Vision and Wanda. So I was just, because when you think of that, what I was trying to say is she could have told Clint, hey, look what I did. I got rid of the widows. I freed them and stuff. I also have an adoptive sort of sister. So I feel like they would have had some interaction or talked along those lines. So this wouldn't be so confusing for him. So on that, but I just kind of, not that I forgot, but it just, when you think about it, it sort of makes sense because, again, he was retired during the events of Avengers Infinity War, then lost his family, then just sort of jumped right to Ronan, and then Natasha hadn't seen him, I'm guessing, in multiple years. 5 is sort of the exact number, but I don't know if they had any sort of interactions in between that time during the blip, but that's debatable. But for me, just Clint is so well informed. I feel like he would have known that the Black Widow sort of operation has been disbanded since. And when he said someone hired a Black Widow assassin or whatnot after me, like put a hit on me, I was like, how does he not know they are just kind of not an official thing anymore? But as I said, I guess it adds up in that sense. And the final thing I just wanted to talk about is that sort of relationship with Kate and Clint. I know I just said it's going to be a shorter sort of post-reaction discussion, which I still believe, but just something to note between them is they do have a really good relationship. It's like developing sort of, as she likes to say, partnership, even though he sort of kind of throws that idea off, but obviously he appreciates her company and enjoys her company, but being sort of the man he is and trying to be not professional, but he's trying to have a standard and sort of protect her even before her mother asked her for him to protect her. That was very tongue-tied there. But it's just not necessarily his fatherly instincts, because yes, he's a father, but it's just because of the person he is that obviously he would have this sort of protect the innocents, do the heroic deeds, because even though he doesn't believe himself to be a hero, obviously he does heroic things and inspires, as Kate has mentioned before. So it's cool to see that sort of relationship, and one very experienced and then one that's trying to learn, and you have sort of the mentor with the, if you want to call it apprentice, we're going to get like old school or Star Wars or whatnot, but it's just cool to see that dynamic. And obviously there's tension because he's sort of starting to unravel his past a bit with her. And as he said, she's very sort of clever, has good instincts. She had good instincts about Jack, but also she was able to figure out that he's Ronan based on his sort of looks when he was looking at the TV with the Christmas time on the family, and she was able to piece together, hey, you probably, not probably, did you lose your family during the blip? And then he was like, yeah, and then she was like, oh, that must have been tough. And then her brain cylinder started spinning, and she was like, you're the Ronin, aren't you? Like, she very, as I said, every single episode, she's very smart. And it's funny because I said she wasn't like a detective, but technically she's doing things like that, the deducing and sort of investigating. So she's done a great job at that, but it was just a very cool and very powerful interaction between the two. And I like that she didn't necessarily like blame or mock him or stuff like, how could you kill these people? What's wrong with you or stuff? But she was very understanding. Like, that's what a friend should do. Like, she was very rational in that moment, and I appreciate that just from her character standpoint. So I like that, because obviously not just because he's her idol and she wouldn't want to sort of darken her image of him, but just the person she is herself, because obviously, as I said, Clint has very redeeming qualities and so does she, and she does not seem the type to sort of judge someone based on, you know, this sort of mass hysteria event that occurred to everyone in the universe. So it's just a nice character sort of interaction, development, and growth. And then to see that sort of evolve to the point where Clint is like, yeah, we're done. You go home and stuff. It's not out of spite or hate. It's just him realizing the situation has gotten so out of control that he needs to do what he needs to do in order to protect her. Because not just, as I said, he protects the innocent, but now he has sort of a fondness for her in a growing partnership that he doesn't want her to get hurt. So he's just like, leave it to me. I don't want you part of this. So it's like that tough love, but he's obviously doing it with good intentions and stuff. And she said she chose this life, so she's making her own decision. So it's like tough to juggle the two, but it's hard when two people have their mindset, but obviously what they want is something different. It's hard. So it makes for a good drama. It makes for a good story. But seeing that unfold is just quite the thing to watch. But I definitely enjoyed it. And I'm like, I'm interested to see how this is going to evolve, because I know, well, I don't know, but I think there's been like promos of Clint in his purple suit, because you obviously know from a story standpoint, from a show standpoint, we as fans and watchers know they're gonna rekindle and work together again. But I'm just like, how is this gonna go about? Because I've heard not reviewers. Well, yeah, I guess you could say reviewers. There hasn't been any leaks, but reviewers, like official Marvel reviewers and sort of comic book reviewers, are all saying episode 5 is like, whoosh. And I'm guessing that has to do with Kingpin, because everyone is saying the damn Kingpin will be in here. It's specifically the one from Charlie Cox's Daredevil show, which I'm going to react to at one point down the line. But again, it's just like confusing with the multiversal shit going on and the timelines all jumbled out, so I'm interested to see how this is going to unfold. That is happening tomorrow, so I'm going to watch that then. And right now I'm going to go watch The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because as I mentioned before, I'm rewatching all the Spider-Man movies, so I'm going to continue that. This isn't on my channel, it's just like on my own free time, but I'm just letting you know what I'm going to do. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. This will be out, I think, on, well, it has to be, because I want to get this out before No Way Home, even though it doesn't really matter, but I want this to be out on a Wednesday. Potentially the next episode will also be out later that day, which is today, because if this is out on Wednesday, then I'm speaking from that sense. And then my Spider-Man No Way Home sort of post-watch discussion on things that I think will occur and I want to see happen, I will also try to get out. Probably not on Wednesday, that's unrealistic. Thursday, because that's when I'm watching the movie. So yeah, if you're interested in that, they'll be on my channel. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. And until then, I'll catch you folks in whatever next video comes your way.